see here. Let's see what we're looking at on the okay, role play, objection handling. Yeah. So like what kind of role play? What kind of objection handling, Albert?
Um, Probably the scripts, and then objection handling. The other, I think the other day, on Monday, I've been getting a lot of objection handling in regards to like lease. Like there was this one call that I had. He I called him and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I already leased out the property. Call me back in 2 years." And I'm like, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, "Oh, hey, congratulations!" Like,
Okay.
like, how should I rebuttal that?
What to do with a lease? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tajay, I got a property. And honestly, like I have a lease for another couple of years. So call me next year just to check
Okay,
in.
so I hear you loud and clear, Pauly. They're already on a lease. Aside from this property, are you originally just an investor, or this is your only rental property that you have
Yeah,
currently?
I have two others. Yeah.
You have two others, and are those currently tenanted as well?
They both have tenants. Yeah.
Both tenants on leases?
Yeah, they are.
I hear you loud and clear, Pauly. Well, aside from that, man, I'd love to be a resource as well as a realtor. Is there anything else that you might have before I let you go here?
Okay, not bad. Not bad. Anoush, I have a property, but it's leased for a couple more years.
Okay. Oh, so what kind of? I wasn't ready. Uh, I don't know how to go from
I
because
could take
I
another
Okay.
shot, like
Yeah.
another angle.
You want
All right.
you, Taj?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take another shot.
Okay, look, I got a couple years on that property. I just leased it out and it's honestly it's gonna be a couple more years to the lease is due. They signed a 2-year lease.
Okay, I see. They signed a 2-year lease. And was this something that you were looking to offload, or were you just looking to hold on to it?
I mean, I wanted to sell it, which is why it was on the market, but because it didn't sell, I decided to lease it out. So I couldn't get what I was looking for.
You didn't get what you were looking for. I hear you loud and clear.
Mm,
It is a beautiful area. Like you said, it does cash flow pretty well over here. What number were you looking for?
I was looking for 750.
750. So, Paulie,
Yeah.
let me know if I'm in the ballpark. Obviously, the goal was to offload this property you had here. If there was a way that we can find, give you a game plan of how we can get you that 750, would that be worth a quick 15-minute conversation?
I mean, it would, but it didn't sell before at that price range. So
It
that's
didn't
the
sell
problem.
before. No, I hear you, man. And did you get any feedback as to why that was? It didn't sell the first time around?
They just said the market, the market was just not doing well.
The market wasn't doing well. Did you get any traction, any offers on the property at all?
We had a bunch of showings, and I had one offer at 700. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was like a little 715 right initially within the first month, and then and
Mm-hmm.
then it just died from there. Nothing happened after that.
It just died from there. And do
Mhm.
you have any idea why that might have been?
Well, it just they just said it was the market.
They said it was a market. Now I hear that. I
Mm,
hear that a lot. And as you know, Paul, I'm sure you seem like a pretty sharp guy. You wouldn't do anything unless it made sense. Am I right?
true.
So, like you said, it definitely has been a little while since you have tried to sell. Like I said, it might be possible for you to see what it might be worth now as opposed to waiting later. Do you think that would be helpful for you at all?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd look at it, but I think probably, I'm realistic. Value
Mm-hmm.
probably is, 725 at the highest, and I don't really want to go below 750.
You don't want to go. No, I hear you loud and clear. And like I
Mm,
said, it is a beautiful home. At the end of the day, this would just be a conversation just to see what we have could be possible. So for us to do that, just to go over a game plan of how we can, get you that 750 on a timeline that makes sense for you, obviously give you a bit of clarity on how to win in today's market. For us to do that, what days work better for you, weekends or weekdays?
okay, not bad. Okay, so here's the thing. Um, Great job juking and jiving, repeating, improving, continuing to ask good questions. I like all of that. Okay, there's a challenge though with a property that is for lease.
Mhm.
Okay. Now I actually used to run that route, Tajay, when I was newer to the business. I tried to run that route to like open up the conversation. But the thing is that I wasted a lot of time. So I
Mhm.
need to know a little bit more about what's going on right now. So let's look at a few things here because there's lots of different variables. But if we're talking about a property that didn't sell, right? I don't know, Albert, if you were talking to somebody who it was a for sale by owner or expired or what.
It was expired.
Okay, perfect. So look, on expireds, like they have already got a track record. So maybe going in deeper on like what happened, and then I just told them what happened. Right, I had an offer at 715. I'm pretty realistic. It's not going to sell at 715, 750. probably going to sell for 715. I'm not really interested in that. Okay. So the only other thing I could ask there is like, well, if you did have that offer at 715 again, would you take it? Yeah, I would. Okay, well, wait a minute. Maybe there's something to talk about here. Okay, because he's playing within the confines of reality now, right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about clarity. Like you need crystal clarity on like what would happen, what's it really going to take for that property to sell? It's not like you're going to do a market analysis right now, but like you were asking good questions like what happened? Did you get any showings? Did you get any offers? They say yes, you better dig in a little bit deeper. What did those offers look like? Anoush, I'm trying to understand the situation. Like what happened? What's going on and what's reality? Even if you just pull the property up on Zillow, I mean, within 10%, I know that's a big deviation, right? But like you can kind of get in the ballpark a little bit. You should be. Okay. Clarity is power. I'm looking for to understand the situation at a higher level. Okay, but here's a problem for me in my market, right? My market is very difficult to sell to investors right now because there's not a lot of cash flow. So because is it cash flowing as a current owner for the current owner? Yes. Now you buy it cash, it cash flows, right? But what percentage of buyers are cash investors in your market right now? You should know. Mine's low. It's like below 5%. Okay, so that's not, there's not that many buyers out there, right? And is it going to cash flow with 20% down? Most properties here, big no. Okay, so you should have some idea, like, would this property even cash flow with a new investor? So I don't know what that's like in your market, Tajay, as far as like cash flowing on new purchases for investors based off of the current interest rates and the market conditions. Is that good, bad, even?
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially in moving towards the city, like the Queens, Brooklyn area. When you are going out more towards Long Island, like the Suffolk areas, it slows down. Where, like you
Mm.
said, it's like sub 5%, but in Brooklyn, closest to the city, it's around that like 10-15% range, which
So
is still not
so
that great, but pretty.
Yeah, yeah. So then, and then what about, and then you guys should know this about your markets too. Like, how often are investors buying properties that are already leased? Is that happening more often, less often?
Yes, that also goes in with the condition. As you know, New York is not tenant friendly at all. So if it's
Mm,
a property where the tenant is giving issues, it's gonna be very low. Like that in areas like certain areas in like the lower income areas in Brooklyn, where
mm,
people are trying to buy up and get tenants out, they'll do that. But that's like a waiting period of maybe 6 months to like a year and a half to get them out, where they're gonna
mm.
start cash flowing after that, which is what
Right.
we've been seeing recently.
Right. Get long. Look, I'm giving you guys all variables on like for you to understand clarity on like what's going on with situations because is this something I should chase? That's the bottom line of this, right? Is like, is this something I should chase based off of these variables? And there's one other thing here for us to go a little bit deeper on that you kind of touched on, but then on the first role play, but then we didn't really touch on it the second role play, which was what? Do you know what it was, Taj? What
Mm,
didn't we go deep on?
the motivation of like why you
Motivation.
yeah.
Motivation. Like what's going on here? Like why? So I know you're not doing anything right now, but I mean, why was it important when you first started out?
Hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. What's important about that? Blah, 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 blah. What would that do for you? Blah, blah, blah. No, those two questions, Aurelio, you guys like brother and sister there? Aurelio, Aura, Albert, like everyone's got A's that you brought, Albert? Like what's going on here? Okay.
It's the
The Albert.
18.
It's the eight. Oh, that's good. I like that. It's the 18. Okay. Uh and you see now I started joking around. Now I lost my train of
Motivation.
thought.
You're talking about motivation.
Motivation, right? Motivation is like I'm now okay, these two questions right here, newbies. What's important about that? What's that do for you? Now you ask those questions around motivation, they tell you, or because people tell you things that you think you hear the motivation and then it sounds pretty clear, but you need to like dig in deeper on that and like, well, what's important about that? What's that do for you? Now you might have some of those answers in your own head, thinking about what they just said on what is important about that and what that does do for them, but you need to have them say it. You need them to come out of their mouth on like what's going on because how do we know, Taj, right? Like that actually blah 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 on personal situation and actually he's got a problem on his hands. Death,
Yeah, you have to ask.
divorce,
Hmm.
money issues. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to dig out something personal, but here's my job. Ask great questions, ask them well, listen carefully. So the better questions you ask, the better you ask them. Okay. Tosh, slow down still too, bro. You're still talking too fast. Now I'm talking fast right now because I'm trying to jam in a lot of information, but I want to say that to you because number one, I know you care. Number two, you're coachable. And number three, I know that when you start adjusting and being really super intentional about what you're saying, not just what you're saying, but how you're saying it, dude, you're going to power up. You're going to power up, Tosh. Okay. So I know you can take that. All right. But, really what we did on this role play was take a look at all these different factors. Harold, I'm coming to you. All these different factors on what would make me want to chase this or not. Because, and oh, by the way, I don't do this so consistently so well sometimes, right? Why? Because I just start thinking and I just start taking what they say and then I just move on, right? There's stereotypes or assumptions that I make. And so because there's somebody already in there. I had 3 conversations today where they're like, well, it's rented out for till the rest of the year. Now, because my stereotype is, look, stuff that's already rented is going to be very difficult to sell and the properties aren't cash flowing in Austin. So just move on and follow up on them in 6 months. Now, what happens is, Albert, is in 3 months, my son calls him up and goes, hey, I know you talked to my dad, want to see if you want a custom home value report. I know there's a renter in there and you're not going to do anything till when the leases due. Situation, motivation questions to maybe dig a little deeper. And then I call them in 3 months from then. Okay. So that's what I do with mine that are leased out. But I'll tell you right now, I could do better on situation and motivation, digging deeper. Transparently, we are often not asking enough good questions. Certainly, we're not asking them good enough. I'm giving you guys a lot right now. Harold, hand raise.
Yes, Pauly. So I saw it was on the market. It came up. There was a certain price point you wanted. Are you flexible on the price now to sell?
Yeah, I'm a little more flexible. I mean, I kind of wish I would have taken that 715.
Hey, clue me in on why did you really need to sell it at last week or whenever it was on the market? Why'd you put it on the market?
Yeah, I've owned it for a while, honestly, and it's a little deeper into Queens, and I'm in Long Island, so I just I just don't want to own property that close to the city.
So you would like to still own property, you just don't want to own that property if you could get
That
out.
way, and my 2 other ones are closer to me, so I'm just it's a little bit easier. I'm getting a little bit older. I don't want to drive. I don't want to deal with it. So
Okay. What's the situation with your tenants? How long are they in for?
yeah, well, they're a couple of years. I mean, I just put them in there, so they're going to be there for a while.
Okay. The other thing too is if a good investment comes along, would you want to know about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because we have stuff happening all the time. Are you ready to pull the trigger now if I had something really great?
Maybe it would have to be on Long Island.
Okay, Long Island. I'll look into that. Let's do this. Let's stay in touch. I do have properties that are coming. And what price point are you at if I do find something?
Okay, break script. All right, point taken. Okay, I like this because Harold, thank you for doing that because what you did is you reminded me something that Taj started doing and he was doing it good, but definitely some opportunities to dig a little bit deeper. Taj, you were like, okay, on the first role play, I think you deviated and went in that direction. You're like, what else? Like, what else? That was actually a good strategy. You did it too early though. Like you could have dug in deeper before you go, what else? Because now there's 2 what else's. Okay, what else? What else about what we're saying? What else about situation? What else about motivation? What else about situation? What else about motivation? You guys just aren't digging deep enough sometimes. Okay, we just talked about all these different ways that we can go deeper on situation and motivation because we're taking some of these things and we're stereotyping or we're assuming when there's more conversation to be had. I can't tell you, Taj, I know this has happened to you. Anoush, maybe it's starting to happen to you. David Kerr's not showing his face, but I know it's happened to him too, where like you keep asking questions instead of just eating the sandwich that they're trying to give you on resistance or rejection. Like you keep asking questions and then all of a sudden, bloop, all of a sudden you got something to work with. Like they just revealed something to you that changed the story. And now I'm a little bit more interested to keep asking you questions about what's going on. Aurelio, you've had that happen to you? I see you nodding your head, right? Right? Doing what? Calling expireds, withdrawals, open house leads? Like where you remember when that happened to you?
I'd say expireds.
what was it about you continuing to ask questions? Was it just you being persistent, or you being strategic, or it just happened by accident?
Well, it was when I mean, I still do it now. I'm still fairly new to calling expired, so I just want to kind of get a client, if that makes sense. If that means I get to follow up, okay, cool, because I haven't had any listings from that. So sometimes I'm just trying to create that relationship by asking more questions.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And I've said this once, I've said it a million times. When your priority is rule number one, get to know the people. Then no matter what they say, Anoush, no matter what they say, Aurelio, no matter what they say, I don't care what they say. I'm just going to keep asking questions. Why? Because I want to understand. Oh, you're not doing anything right now? Okay, well, what happened? Did you get any offers? So what the agent say? So what did that offer look like? So why do you think it didn't get put together? So what was important about you, doing something in the first place? Well, what did that do for you? Like, you're just focused on getting to know the people. Then you guys can start digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And then look, you just need to remind yourself, because sometimes you get a little lazy, right? Because sometimes you just end up going with the flow, their flow, not your flow, which is a no-go. Ooh, yeah, right. Like, yeah, okay. All right. So get to know the people and stop trying to sell people, Darwin. Don't worry about like trying to convince them. You're not in the convincing business. You're in the sorting business. But rule number one, get to know the people. When I can stay there, Aurelio, then my questions can be better. The way that I'm asking them can be better. Okay. So we said, what else? I didn't finish that thought. I said there's two what else's. Two what else's. One what else, and what else situation, what else motivation. Okay, that's that thought. The other what else is like, well, what else? Like what Taj was talking about and what Harold started to get into is like, well, what else you got? How many investors have you talked to that you didn't ask that question? What else you got? I don't have anything else. Well, if you saw a really great, Harold, great job on the way you asked that question. Or you saw a really good deal right now, would you consider it? Yeah, I would. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your buy box. You want to talk investor? Buy box. What's your buy box? What's your buy box? Criteria. What do they want? Area, square footage, type of product. What's important to them? NOI, ROI, IRR. Okay, look, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Financing. Pauly,
yeah.
Is it all cash or is it financing that you're going to do?
Right. Cash.
Okay, good. So we got that set. So how soon are you ready to pull the trigger? If I brought you something tomorrow.
It'd have to be a good deal. I mean,
okay, let's do this. Why don't we? I'll send you an email with my contact info. What's your best email?
Okay, so look, one thing you missed though. What's a good deal look like to you? Right? Clarity. Get to know the people. Now, get to know the people isn't just about situation or motivation. Get to know the people is like they say something and like, do you really understand what they're saying? Like a good deal? That's a very general, ambiguous thing to say. Listen. You guys are so concerned about setting appointments. You're so concerned about like getting them to move forward. Look, this is not about convincing people. It's about sorting out who wants to be helped, who is willing to be helped, who is able to be helped. You guys, I took my vitamins today. Like I don't know if you noticed that, Taj. Like I'm ready to rock and roll here. I'm looking at my calendar because next week we have who's it, you, Anoush? Yeah, Anoush is gonna do a listing presentation next week. Live listing presentation next week with Anoush Odolov. Am I saying your name right?
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna be for an hour, or I guess.
No, it should only take you 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Right.
Okay. You better not take an hour. You're gonna be fired. Okay. What else are we talking about today? Freestyle. We got Power Hour freestyle in the house. That was a good, Albert. Thanks for putting that up there on and look, that's a good testament, Albert, and the rest of the A team, Anoush too. Okay. Look, nothing's too small. No question's too small. No topic too small. Anything that we're talking around mindset, strategies, skills.
I have a question about the commission.
Mm-hmm.
So how is your commission the same for the houses, let's say like 400K and 1.5, let's say? How do you go from like about that?
Yeah. Taj, I see you going like this. What's going on?
Yeah, no.
How? What is it for you?
Well, for me personally, I do it differently based on a few things go into how I do my commission. It's price point, how much equity they have in the property, what number they're looking to get out of it. And also what it will cost us to put the listing up, the photos, the size of the home, all that stuff matters. So it definitely differentiates. It's never the same. So we
So
have,
give me an example on like a 400,000 versus a 1.4 where there's enough equity in it for the game for everybody. How would that, you have like a quick example on that?
yeah, so for like let's say a 400,000, we have a difference. We have 4%. We can do 4%, 4.5, and then 5. 4 is like light, silver, and gold package. And then for the higher price, let's say we are like in 1 million, 1.5 range, we go from 4.5, 5.5, 7.
Mm. Okay. Based off of the services that you offer.
Exactly. It's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you, Anoush, I do not differ personally. I've gone that route before. We're offering different packages. No right or wrong at all. No judgment. That's just what I do to keep it simple. The only time it will be different is if it's under a certain price point, then my minimum commission is going to be, $7,500. Like I that's my minimum. So it doesn't matter. Somebody has a piece of land and they come and they're like, oh, it's just this little piece of land. I go, I know, but I still have to do the same work and the percentage doesn't make sense anymore. So for me to put time into it, and I did that quite a bit when the market crashed in Vegas. I had quite a bit of those where and because there was so many investors, Taj, like the market was bad for sellers, but it was good for buyers. So if I had a piece of property and I knew that was priced right and it was a good investment property, I told the buyers they had to pay a $2,500 to $5,000 closing fee to me because I had to make up some more money here. I mean, there was now that's all because the properties were priced lower, right? I haven't had that happen in a while, but typically it's going to be, and then I have a scale for me where I have a little it's like a scale for compensation, but it's not really a scale at all. It's just some basic stuff like 0% if it doesn't sell. Okay. They like seeing that. Like they like seeing a 0%. As simple as that sounds, but it's a marketing tactic, right? So 0%. If your cousin buys it, if it's an arm's length transaction and you just want me to look over the deal, 1.5%. I mean, I can't remember. It happened once several years ago, but it's just something to show them options. And then if I sell it on my own, because I used to in Vegas, we were able to double end deals over there. We can't do that in Texas. So I would double end deals in Texas. But if I deal with an unrepresented buyer in Texas, then it's 4.5% versus 3%. And then with all these new rules for compensation and on all this legalities and lawsuits, I personally like the tactic that some of these other brokerages are taking, not the one that I'm currently under. That is here's what we're going to charge, and then the rest of it's negotiable. We can negotiate it. So let's see what they come up with, and it's a good segue to just get what you need, right? And then look, are they going to have to pay 2 or 3%? Yeah. Because look, Cali, and I don't know Aurelio in Orange County, but I do have a lot of friends in Southern California who do, and in Northern California too, where it's similar to New York City, where it's like 4% is kind of the norm. Like 4.5 is kind of the norm. Is that how on the coast? That's true, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So different markets are in different circumstances. Texas here, surprisingly, in Austin, we're still 6. So like I can get away with a full 3, but that's kind of Anoush. Did that give you a little bit more insight?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. What else are we talking about?
Objection for an expired. So they said, oh, the market is down or the market's going down, prices are going down. It's not a good time to sell. It's a race to the bottom for prices.
Okay. So number one question I have for you, Aurelio, is if now an objection is a doubt, fear, insecurity question in the mind of the prospect. Doubt, fear, insecurity question. That's an objection. A condition is something I can't do anything about, right? I can't do anything about it. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. So is what you just said an objection or a condition?
Sounds like what's a condition of the market.
Sounds like a condition. Is it actually a condition? I don't know, right? Okay, Aurelio, I want to go pro. I want to go from amateur to pro in my conversations. Get to know the people. Get to know the people. Somebody now, so what happens, Aurelio, is that sometimes people give us objections. They sound like conditions, and the amateurs eat those and they go away. Pros go, well, what do you mean? So tell me more about that. So what's important about that? So what does that do for you? They dig in because they want to understand the person here and here. And so somebody gives me the objection. All right, who wants it? I got some pros here on expireds. David Kerr, Tajay. I think Anoush is calling expireds. Okay. Who wants it? Let's do it. Give me the objection one more time, Aurelio.
Yeah. No, I don't want to relist again. The market's going down and prices are going down, so it's a race to the bottom for the pricing.
Yeah. Okay.
I can
So
go.
who wants it? Okay, Anoush.
Yep. Oh,
Go ahead.
you
Just
want
take
me
it.
to just answer it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what if I told you, I don't know if it makes sense, but you let me know. But what if we met and once I explained you, if you put the market on the house again and you walked away with the amount of money that you needed, is that something that you would be interested in, or is that going to be a waste of your time, currently?
I mean, yeah, that sounds great, but we tried it last time and I didn't get the price that I wanted.
And how long ago was that?
This was about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, the market changes, and sometimes the market, changes quickly, sometimes slowly. Once I'm there, yeah, I could explain everything. It's just gonna be a, 30-minute conversation because I know, we wouldn't do anything unless it makes sense, right?
Correct.
All right,
Okay,
so
break.
does
Good. You did one thing really well there. I liked a lot. Okay. He said, okay, he says something that sounds like a condition. Anoush delivered a trial close. Okay. Now, Taj, what's a trial close?
It could be any part of the conversation we just shoot just to see if it's worth a conversation, if they're open to a
Yeah.
conversation of selling.
Yeah. Look. Temperature checker. Temperature check.
Yeah.
Right? Anoush, that was good. That was like, so hey, no, you could do it to a buyer or a seller. Hey, if you had I'm not going to do anything right now to buy a home. Okay. If you found the perfect home though, and financially it made sense and it was just beautiful. It was everything you were looking for. I mean, would moving in the next 90 days be a problem for you? Well, no, it wouldn't be a problem for me. Okay. Trial close. You're testing the waters. Yeah. Is there real interest here? Maybe, possibly. Now, what did I have to do? I had to zhuzh it up and make it attractive, right? Anoush, what was your trial close? How did you say it?
Well, if I came over and I explained everything, and after everything said and done, you walked away with the amount of money that you needed, would you
Yeah.
be open to something like that, or is that going to
Okay,
be a
now
risk?
look, I love that, Anoush. I love that because we got to be careful, Taj, and other expired people that are fishing around expires because they say, well, I wanted 750. And I go, well, if you could get your number, whoa. They couldn't get their number. So don't say like if you could get your number because it didn't happen. If they were listed at the right price and it was listed by a monkey, it still would sell. Okay, so what do we know? I mean, 9.9 out of 10, it's the price, right? Every now and again is okay, but we're not talking about the exception.
Right.
We're talking about the standard. So what did Anoush say? Anoush said, if you could get a number that you were happy with, okay, we look, just tweak it a little bit. Okay, we tweaked that a little bit because what's my job? Ask great questions. That was a really good question. Ask it well. Okay, he tweaked the question a little bit on what the result on getting a result because for an expired specifically, hey, if you get a number that you were happy with, well, I couldn't get my number before. Hey, I get that, and but if you could get a number the market would bear and you could live with that number because now here's where Anoush, this is the coaching moment, right? Now I want more clarity because especially if I'm talking to an expired withdrawn and he said, I want 750. He couldn't get 750. And you go, well, hey, if you could get a number that you were happy with, would you still do it? And he goes, well, I really wanted 750. Okay, so digging in on motivation, like, okay, well, wait a minute. And you may have asked some of those questions already, and then maybe you're recapping and you're re-exploring, you're re-digging into motivation, or you're gonna go, or you're blowing that wide open. You're like, well, what's important about 750,000? And then they give you watch. Aurelio, what's important about 750,000? Oh, mute.
There we go.
What's
Yeah.
important about 750?
Yeah, I need to get 750 so that I can afford to move to San Diego.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, moving from Orange County to San Diego, both expensive places. So you're looking at as much money as you possibly can get. I totally get that. But and tell me again, you did you have to sell this home to buy the next one?
Yes.
You did. Okay, so every penny is important then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What's important about getting to San Diego?
I'm 50 now. Orange County is very high paced, and I
Yeah.
have a buddy of mine out there. I visit him every now and then, and I love San Diego. So I'm getting to that place where I kind of want to just cool down on life, if that makes sense. And I think
Yeah.
San Diego is the place to be.
Yeah, look, it sounds like, Todd, you heard that? Sounds like this is a lifestyle change. Like you want to slow down and enjoy your life differently than you are right now. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So it's not like you really have to sell. It's just like, I want to enjoy my life differently. I want to experience it differently. I want to be somewhere else. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this is
Okay.
a this is a big house that I'm in, over there I was thinking of getting maybe something smaller.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, obviously, Aurelio, I mean, let me ask you if you could be in San Diego right now, let me say this differently. Are you okay waiting a year or two to be in San Diego, or really you'd prefer to be in San Diego right now?
I mean, I'm okay with it, sure, if it doesn't happen, but I would preferably want to be in San Diego right now.
Okay. Well, then look, obviously, I know I'm getting the feeling that you're not going to do anything unless you're comfortable with it. Is that
Hmm.
am I on the same page there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then why don't we do this? Sounds like our next best step is just to sit down and talk a little bit more because obviously 750s doesn't work, and if there's still an opportunity to be in San Diego with a number you could live with, right? And obviously, taking a look at that and having clarity with that and having some certainty around how to time the market and how to put the most money in your pocket right now. I mean, would that be unreasonable if you and I just had that conversation and we just talked about it?
No, I think that would be great.
Okay, break script. What happened there? Tell me what you heard, strategy wise.
I like the line that you used. It looks like you're not going to do anything unless you're comfortable with. Is that correct? That was
Right.
awesome.
Taj, you heard how I adjusted that? Because I'm the D and I go, hey, now these are sensory level shifts. We covered this in another power hour, right? And we can keep bringing it back. But a sensory level shift, Aurelio, is sounds like, looks like, feels like. So you're reinterpreting the objection and behind what's really behind the objection, or the situation. You told me I'm 50, I want to slow down. Sounds like you want a lifestyle change. Sounds like you want what I'm hearing you
Mm.
say, Aurelio, what I can see, what I'm seeing, Aurelio. Okay, that's the sensory level shift is just you're interpreting that objection into what it really is. Fear, doubt, question. Okay. And then when you get alignment with that on like what it is they're really thinking or feeling, now you have agreement. And the agreement you can go anywhere on asking another really good question. Not to get them to do something, to like ask a better question on like, well, now what else did you hear? Because I did a bunch of things there. Anybody. What else did you hear? Aurelio or anybody?
If the pain is, strong enough for him to act now, at the
Uh-huh.
end, he kind of made sure that, I mean, the pain is not very strong, I thought, based on what he said. So he can wait 2 years. It's fine with him.
Yeah. And then so I use Taj, I use the option now,
Mhm.
right? And I threw in the option. I go, hey, and I almost did it the wrong way, but I did it. I took a second, and even in that moment, recorrecting myself to go, wait a minute, I don't want to ask the question like that. And it was totally fine for me to readjust. And I go, let me ask this a different way. The option, Aurelio, is your option and an option that I'd like to see you move towards, right? It's or, and it goes like this. Hey, so it sounds like maybe you'd be comfortable staying in San Diego another year or two, or you'd rather be in San Diego now.
Oh, damn.
Oh, we're going to hold, we're already talking to another agent. Oh, you're already talking to another agent? I get that. I mean, obviously you could just do that and get one opinion, or we're getting a second opinion and talking to somebody who might have something different to bring to the table really be unreasonable to just hear that or take a look at that. Okay, that's called the option. Give them an option, your option on the end. And and Anoush, I agree with you. The pain wasn't very high. Okay, transparency here. I should have dug in a little bit more on that, Taj. Like, well, so why is that? So what is, I mean, okay, lifestyle, but what else is important about that? Well, my friend, and we've been friends forever, and I just have some other friends, and now he starts talking about stuff that's emotional. And then Aurelio, I realize, wait a minute, this guy is like miserable right now, and he wants his life to change. Or Anoush, he goes blah 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 blah, and we go, pain not high, but I did what I did, which was still the right move on like, well, what you I mean, obviously you can't get 750. I readdressed the elephant in the room. Like, if you could get a number that was, not out of the ballpark and you could live with, I'm not going to commit to what that number is, right? But like, obviously you can't get what you wanted, but if you could get something and insert motivation, insert what it is that they were moving towards, but you got to ask better questions on motivation. What's important about that? What does that do for you? You got to dig in on that. You got to dig in on it. You got to dig in on it. Right? So, and he goes, yeah, okay. Quality of that appointment in regards to level of motivation, 7. How would I know? I just told you, ask more questions. Tell me a little bit more about, like you said now, Aura, this is a good example of like somebody going, well, my friend lived there and I want to slow down. Sounds like you know their motivation. You know it here. You got to know it here. Because motivation is what's going to allow you to not waste your time, because nothing will discourage you more than having appointments with unmotivated or uncooperative people. Nothing will demotivate you and demoralize you and wish you were not doing this job than going out on appointments and you got no chance. Why do you have no chance? You didn't ask enough questions. You didn't ask. You didn't dig deep enough. Still happens to me sometimes. Why? Because I'm lazy. Why? Because I got the skill set and I it's a little bit of ego, Todd. A little bit of ego. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I could hear it. They're not motivated. Come on, man. I'm losing money like that. And that's why, you guys, that's why it's important for skill set building. Okay. Now, Power Hour, we focus a lot on skills, right? Mindset and strategies. We talk about that stuff too, but real estate's about relationships. The conversation is the relationship. And if you want to play pro ball, soccer, football, basketball, you want to be a top tier attorney or doctor or pilot, look, man, you got to stay on your game. You got to stay on your game. This is the type of stuff that's important for you guys, because we don't get paid by the hour. We get paid by the closing. And to get closings, you need more highly motivated, more highly cooperative prospects. Okay. What are you hearing right now? Takeaways, feelings, ahas, delusions. Nothing too small. Go.
Yeah, just disqualifying, I think, because I've also wasted my time with like 2 prospects. I mean, it was my fault. I went to the appointment like for Fizbo's, and then it went really good. And then I saw it a few days ago, they listed with another agent. So I would have if I disqualified, them early, I wouldn't wasted my time. It's still not a waste of time, I think. I still learned something from that, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goodbye. I see your point though, right? Then I may not have, I could have spent time somewhere else. I did learn from it. Good. Awesome. All right. Now that you've learned, like, don't make that mistake again. And you're moving forward. Other thoughts, comments, questions, nothing too small.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be on this call, because sometimes we don't know what we're supposed to know. And just by showing up sometimes we start to learn, okay, this is the new target and this is what we should be doing instead of what we have been doing, which hasn't been working, obviously.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, Aurelio. Aura, what's your takeaway today, newbie?
Yeah, well, I did learn a lot about how to dig deeper and what the right questions are to ask and how to ask them. So because I'm I do want to be really good at calling expires, and I haven't done it yet, but yeah, I feel like with the things that I learned today, I'll be able to do a bit of objection handling. Well, yeah, I hope so.
Good, good. I like it.
Mhm.
All right, Albert, you're coming back into the fold here, buddy. What's your takeaway today?
No, I learned a lot today. I just more of a, I guess it's more of just practicing. I guess just you guys have such a very steady, consistently flow of the conversation, and I want to be like I want to have that natural conversation, like how to get that response. I'm more of like I'm more of a like I gotta memorize it in a script, and then internalize it and then say it on my own. But
Yeah.
they're so like you guys are so natural of just kind of rebuttaling and objection handling, all that stuff is just like like I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know what, Albert, I appreciate you saying that because it's not natural. It sounds natural because you have people here who've been participating and who've invested the time on studying the scripts so that I can internalize good concepts and ideas. And that's what's important. Aurelio. It's not about memorizing the scripts to be a robot and spit out a script. That's not what's important. What's important is like, do you understand do you understand what a good conversation looks like? Number one. And then do you have good questions internalized? So when the question goes in different directions, you have solidarity, you have a foundation of not only what a good question, not only what a good conversation looks like, but all the possible options and variables in regards to what could happen in that conversation. Because we make money by what we say. Who are we talking to? How many of those conversations are we having? That's another story. Okay. But like, how good is that conversation when we're at the open house and people say blah, blah, blah. And now you got to respond. And because you don't know what a good conversation looks like or the variables in that conversation, now fill in the blank on lead type, expireds, FISBOs, circle prospecting, talking to an investor, talking to internet leads, open house follow up. Guys, Albert, the only way you sound natural is to practice for the purpose of internalizing a good conversation and then being prepared for the variables. Because here's the good news, guys. Here's the good news. There's less than a dozen objections. There's probably 2 to 3 dozen actual objections, but all of those objections are a root of like maybe about 6 to 10 actual objections. Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense, do this because I want to address it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
There's only so many things that they can say. Okay, cool. So you only need to learn a few different ways the conversation could go. That way, when they say it, Albert, instead of you going, whoa, you go, okay. Right? Instead of you going, whoa, you go, okay, let's get in here. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Let me, what's going on here? What's going on here? What's happening? And those questions are better. You're asking those questions better. Okay. Hey, I appreciate you guys. It was a good conversation today. Thanks for coming. Invite your friends. You want a free copy of the playbook, email me therealsalestalk@gmail.com, therealsalestalk@gmail.com. I'll send you a free copy of the playbook. Coming soon, we're going to do some things coming in the new year here, but a little bit of coaching, a little bit of training, maybe some specialized training. If you have questions around coaching or training, email me. You can email me at therealsalestalk@gmail.com. But look, this forum's free here. So invite your friends. And it's not just role play, even though we're doing a lot of role play. but like mindset and strategy and skills to be able to connect with people. Because at the end of the day, you guys, this is about connecting with other human beings and ultimately understanding them so that we can serve them, not convincing people. This is about figuring out who people are so that we can work with the ones who really want it and need it. And those people will love us. They will love you. Go have a great week. Go love on some people. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Pauly. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Yep.
Thanks, Paul. You're the
Thank you so
greatest.
much.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
All time.